You can't be a manager because you're a single mom. The lies they tell, and I proved them wrong because I said, what is my I can? Just because there may be, I have to figure things out. I have to rearrange some things. I have to become more bold in my ask, in my demands, in my commands, and what I'm going after, and not allowing facts to dictate to me what God has already spoken into my life.
Take control of your career and compensation right now. It's your 5-minute career hack.
At 5-Minute Career Hack, we firmly believe that there are 3 pathways to learning, and that is through education, exposure, and experience. This series here is all about exposure. We are going to expose you to some of the most dynamic, engaging, and energetic leaders in our circle and in the world today. So, in the spirit of our mantra, no fluff, all action, we are going to hop right into it. But first, take your finger or your mouse and tap that subscribe button for me if you have not already. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. We want to hear your biggest takeaway. And because we are so committed to giving you the hacks that you can implement today in order to move your professional and personal development forward, we want to know what you would like to hear more about. So today we are featuring the successful Titan single mom, Kristy Angelee. Kristy is a transformative speaker, author, businesswoman, and personal chef who harmonizes career, ministry, and family. She has been recognized in her community as one of the top influential women of 2022 by 180 Life Enterprise. She has passion for empowering single moms to overcome obstacles. Whether it's through her newly released book, What's Your I Can? Realize Your I Can in Purpose, Business, and Family, through her business or her coaching, she delivers transformational messages. Audiences love hearing Kristy, often describing her as a gem, engaging, and an inspiration. When Kristy is not speaking or working with her clients, she can be found creating delicious meals, playing games, and enjoying life with her boys, Bryson and Matthew. Welcome, Kristy. I am so glad to have you on, and I want to be a recipient today of those gems that you share with your audience. We are so glad to have you today.
Hello. Thank you so very much for the warm introduction. I am excited myself to be a part of this amazing opportunity to share with your audience and every other person that may be listening on how they can reclaim their life of abundance as a single mom and break those stereotypes and dispel those myths of being a single mom. You have to live beneath the status quo, and we are going to break those lies on today. I'm excited.
Awesome. And one of the cool things about 5-Minute Career Hack, I talked about us being passionate about learning, and we like to learn through sharing. So even when we're recording podcasts of our own, we're learning from each other. And so I am so excited to learn from you today. So I know that you didn't just arrive here on the 5-Minute Career Hack podcast. Tell us about you and your career journey.
Oh, wow, that is an amazing journey. And I love to share it because it didn't just start, 10 years ago. It actually started when I was like 7 years old, making lemonade stands and, dog walking services and, understanding I can even then. My dad was an entrepreneur and my mom was a creative genius. With us raising, it was 8 people in a small home. So understanding how to make those, organizational, moves and looking at my father as an entrepreneur and then them paving the way for myself to become this entrepreneur, so it started then and it worked its way up to who I am now, a national single mom speaker, a businesswoman, and an entrepreneur with all of the, I would say juiciness and yumminess that comes along with it. And so the career itself has not been one of bed of roses. There has been challenges. It has been, those, moments of pulling out my hair, or staying up late at night. But the rewards of it all has been a tremendous, one that I can say I enjoy looking back over my journey, that I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade any of the experiences. I wouldn't trade any of the late nights. I wouldn't trade being a single mom and being an entrepreneur for anything, because it has taught me how to make it really has taught me how to be more empathetic with clients
Love it.
and those that are, I'm networking with, and understanding. It gives me a different perspective. Yeah. So that has been my journey.
No, I love that. I love the couple things you said. And I'm a single mom too, so these are things that are always on my mind. And you talked about where your journey started. It didn't start when you started your career. It was with what you saw when you were growing up. And, as single moms, I think we have to be really, really conscious of that, of what we're showing our children about how we take care of ourselves. That translates in the way we do business. They're going to do what they see versus what you tell
Mhm.
them to do. And I think that's an incredible story of, hey, I got into this entrepreneur thing not because of something I learned when I was in, corporate America. This is something I saw when I was a
Mhm.
child that helped me decide that this was the path that I wanted to take. And the other thing that I love was it's not all roses, right? Sometimes, and that's why I say, I know you just didn't arrive here on the 5 Minute Career Hack podcast. And a lot of the things that we do and what we share, it came from, hey, I had this really challenging time, or I made this huge mistake. And now I'm not able to share, like, oh, I got here because I did everything right. But I can share because I want you to learn from the lessons that I learned, or from the mistakes that I made, that helped me to be able to share with you more confidently, because I know what it feels like to experience a failure and to still be able to fail forward and push forward with that. So I love that. And so kind of gave us a great segue to my next question for you. So you talked about your younger self and the things that you saw as you were younger. So, and we hear this question all the time when we listen to podcasts, so I'm sure you've answered it before, but tell us, if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would be that thing that you tell your younger self?
That's a good one, because when I look at different stages of my younger self, there are different things that I can tell. Oh, when you were, your teenage self, this is what you could have done differently. Don't be so stubborn. Don't be so stubborn about changes, or stubborn about life and what is happening. Learning how to take things with a grain of salt. My mom used to always tell us, all these memory verses, and your speech be always a grace, and all the ways and knowledge him, and he will. So taking those things and really harnessing what they really meant, unpacking those things. But I would tell myself, younger self, what I'm telling myself now is ask questions. Ask those questions. Out of all you're getting, get an understanding. So
Mm-hmm.
don't just take things as they come. Unpack them. See the
Mm-hmm.
wisdom, see the gems, see the nuggets, see the when life give you lemonade, see how when life give you lemons, see how you can make lemonade. So ask those questions to why this is happening. Why? What am I to do with this, uncomfortable situation? What am I to do with this conversation that is feeling as if it's going to rip me apart? What am I to do with this, marriage, that seems to be, toxic? How am I supposed to glean from that, learn from that? And so what am I to take instead of don't be bitter about things? So I would look back and tell my younger self, you did good. You held strong. I would tell my younger self, I would encourage her to keep doing what she's doing, because she listened. Even then, she listened to the advice of her mom and those that were around. Even if she still made her choices, she still had that wisdom, and she still listened. So I would pat her on the back. I would continue to encourage her. So that's what I would tell my younger self, that you're doing good. You're doing great. Life is a journey. Enjoy the journey.
Yes. Ask questions, listen to
Ask.
understand, and you are doing a good job. And I want to double click that ask questions. Is so important to stay inquisitive, but I think even staying inquisitive, and then once you go on that journey of exploration, you're increasing your awareness, but you can't judge yourself in those moments, right? So you're going to face those tough times, right? Where you are like, man, it's so easy to go, well, how did I get here? Why is this happening to me? And that question is, well, what am I supposed to learn in this situation?
Exactly.
How am I supposed to take this learning and share with someone else, or how am I going to use this learning to help direct my path forward? And that's far more productive in your emotional understanding, your emotional awareness, to ask that question, listen for the answer, understand the lesson, versus beating yourself down because something didn't go the way you planned it, because it's not our plan anyway, right? But versus beating yourself down, is so important to just give yourself grace. I heard you say that earlier. Give yourself grace and just, understand what the lesson is supposed to do to transform your life, but then also
Hmm.
transform the lives of others who cross paths with you. I love that so much.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you
And
were
I
you
like
guys go
breaking
ahead. Yeah, go
open
ahead.
ask. I always, what has come to me is always seek knowledge. Don't be in a place to where you're closed up and thinking that you know everything, thinking, oh, I know the reason why or the outcome to this. Always seek the knowledge within those situations, those challenges, those journeys. Always seek knowledge.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. When we talk to some of our younger clients or younger cohorts, there's three stages of, knowledge and learning. And one is, what did you learn? So that's the things you read in books, the things that you heard others say. Then that second stage is application. You have to get out there and actually practice it. But the peak of that learning comes from going out there and failing or falling and being able to grasp
Hmm.
those lessons. So again, to your point, there is knowledge in just about everything that we do in life. It's just about us just being willing to embrace it, accept it, and apply it, right, in what we're doing going forward. Love it. So I know your business is centered around um, helping single moms and empowering single moms. Of course, we want to hear more about it today. I was listening to one of your videos, and I heard you say that you're helping women build businesses that they love. So I'm not going to steal your thunder in terms of how you articulate that, but just tell us about your business and your, just your journey and what you're doing for those who follow you and who you coach and mentor. Imagine a world where recruiters come knocking at your virtual door, eager to hire you for your dream job. This can be you with 5-Minute Career Hacks exclusive LinkedIn hacking package. Over 90% of recruiters rely on this platform to make hiring decisions. And guess what else? 75% of people hired last year were discovered right here on LinkedIn. But we get it. You're busy, overwhelmed, and just struggling to find the time to optimize your profile. Let us do the work for you. For a limited time only, sign up today and we can help you break through your career on LinkedIn.
Yes, successful single mom secrets, the secrets to life, the secrets to reclaiming your life of abundance. One of the things I deal with is the mindset, and I hear a lot of people say that I'm a mindset coach, I'm a mindset, A, B, and C. But understanding that one, biblically, things start within the mind. And understanding how, if our mind is not right, if we don't have the right focus, have the right perception on things, then everything else will be out of alignment. So helping you to realign yourself with your goals and your vision. I tell people, women especially, I talked about my younger self earlier, because when you become a single mom, bless the Lord. I'm sorry. When you become a single mom, a lot of times you feel as if your life has stopped. A lot of times people make you feel as if, oh, well, once you become a single mom, you can't do this, you can't go here, you can't have this, all these can'ts. And that is why my mantra is, what's your I can? It's a strategic way of asking yourself when you're faced with all these challenges, when you're faced with being a single mom and you're looking at how am I going to overcome, and you kind of feel you fall into that trap of what people say, what society says. Oh, you can't do this, you can't go, you can't be a manager. I dealt with that. You can't be a manager because you're a single mom. The lies they tell, and I proved them wrong, because I said, what is my I can? Just because there may be, I have to figure things out, I have to rearrange some things, I have to become more bold in my ask, in my demands, in my commands, in what I'm going after, and not allowing facts to dictate to me what God has already spoken into my life. So when you're looking at how to build a business you love, God has already given you a purpose. He's already given you a plan. Maybe you were a little girl and you wanted to be an astronaut. You wanted to be a doctor. You wanted to be a talk show host. And then it still speaks because you find yourself still in the mirror, or you still daydreaming, man, I wish I could have done this. That's your little girl still speaking. That's your inner child still talking. And then what you do is you take a hold of your future self. You allow your vision, you allow the plans, you allow how, man, I see myself doing this. Instead, instead of seeing yourself where you are, you allow that future self to pull you. And so I tell people, allow your inner child and your past self to push you while your future self pull you through. And so that's how you build. You begin to understand who you were made to be. You begin to understand what you were created to do, and allow your space to say, okay, well, just because I'm here, I may not have all the money. I don't have the capital like I need to have the capital. I don't have the networkers or the networking opportunities as everyone else. But again, what do I have? What is my I can? What can I do? How can I take these lemons and make them to lemonade? The Word of God talks about in the Old Testament about a prophet going to a woman's house, and she was like, all I have, because he asked the question, the power in the ask, what's in your home? So we look at things in our home and say, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. But you fail to see that you do have everything that you need in your home to build that business, to be that millionaire, to be that billionaire, to help your community, to pour back into your society, to be that game changer in the country that you're in the city that you're in the state that you're in, and to let people to know that just because we are wealth makers. Because why? Being a single mom, you have to, as people say, do everything. So that means you have to organize, you have to budget, you have to be an innovator, because maybe you have a child that is sick and you got to figure out, how am I going to pay these bills? How am I going to get her to this doctor? How am I going to get him to the physicians, and they're turning off government assistance for me, or I'm making just enough, I'm making minimum, right? So you are having to think things through. So you are a great critical thinker. You know how to take your small things and turn them into a mega idea. So being a single mom is not a handicap. Being a single mom is actually a wealth place. You are you have your well of resources. You are a wealthy person. But so what happens is we listen to society. What happens is we listen to what has been told to us from childhood. If you become a single mom, I'm not going to be here to help you. Ain't nobody going to want to take care of your kids. Nobody because you did this, you made your bed, you lying. So now that automatically closes your mindset to possibility. It closes your mindset to possibilities, and you see everything as an impossible. And then now you start to speak those same things that you heard. You start to regurgitate those same things that you heard, instead of looking at the possibles. Instead of saying, yes, I'm a single mom, but that didn't make me stupid. It didn't make me ignorant. It didn't make me incapable. I was in school and I was making the bomb grade. So that counts for something. So it didn't just discredit who I was as a person. It's not a disease. It didn't make me, just turn the opposite, like, oh, I'm a single mom. Now I'm just helpless and hopeless. Now I got to get on Section 8. Mm-hmm. For those that do those things, then you use those as your stepping stones. So you use what you have to build. You use where you are to grow. Use them as your place of, as I said, a stepping stone, and not a place of, well, I'm here and I got to stay here because government said if I make too much money, then I'm going to lose this. It's a trick. It's a trick to keep you in a place of feeling, a place of bondage, and a place of, not reaching your fullest potential. So you look at where you are and you say that, no, because my future self is still speaking and my inner child is still talking. So I'm going to listen to them instead of listening to my facts. I'm going to listen to the wealth and riches that's in me instead of listening to poverty and lack. I'm gonna listen to where I know I'm supposed to be. I'm gonna listen to that. I wanted to be a journalist. I'm gonna listen to. I wanted to be a news reporter. I wanted to be some type of community service advocate. I'm gonna listen to those and I'm gonna build on those. And so when I talk to clients and people and speaking, I share like Jeremiah 29:11 is still for you. Regardless of what Jeremiah 29:11 is, it's I know the thoughts I think towards you, the thoughts of good and not of evil. For those that don't know what Jeremiah 29:11 is, and it still speaks. The plan still speaks. Your purpose still speaks. Your promises still speak. Now you just got to grab a hold on to that and say, It still speaks because I'm still living. For one, it still speaks because I'm still having these feelings. I'm still wanting to do. I still wanted to be a doctor, but it may be in a different form. It may look different. So you can't say, well, I can't be a doctor anymore because I had to take years of going to school. Well, maybe God has a different way for you to be a doctor. Maybe he has a different type of,
Mhm.
lifestyle for you, and you still been able to handle do what you desire to do and build that business that you love, and versus something that, I'm doing it just because I need to make ends meet, or just because, I just need to make some money. And now you're in something that you're stressed over, you hate going, and you're looking at everybody else around you. You don't find any purpose. You're not fulfilled in it because you're just doing something. Now I need to make ends meet, because one, that's been programmed into your mind as a single mom. You got to make ends meet. Well, I want to do more than make ends meet. I
Right.
want to do more than make ends meet. I
Right.
want to be able to I want to be able to thrive. I want to be able to give to my community. I want to be able to build this program that I wanted to build all these years. I want to be able to not only just make ends meet, but I want to be the wealth of resources that other people
Mhm.
can come to and ask me, how did you do this? How did you
Mhm.
make it over? So build that business you love. You may not have the means right there, right then, but you do have everything that you need right
Mhm.
then to build the business that you love.
Love it. You have everything you need. You might as well just drop the mic, Kristy, because you dropped so many gems. There was points where I was like writing down. I'm like, okay, which point do I want to underscore and double click? I don't know if we have time for me to double click how much that all of that resonated with me. And just thank you for sharing. I could feel your passion for it. And one of the things that you said that I definitely want to underscore is being a single mom is not a handicap. If you're watching this right now, and if you are a single mom and you felt some type of way about your status, or now you being a statistic, which I am going to share, it is not a handicap, right? It's not a handicap. There's a place for us, right? Like when we look at the workplace and the workforce, some research I did, the 2022 study showed that 25% of those in the workforce are parents, are single parents, right? 25% of those are single parents, and 80% of those 25% is a single mom. So this is relevant. We are out here. I am big on if just one person gets the message, and if one person finds one thing that touched their heart during our podcast, then my job is done. But this is for, if there's 100 people listening to this right now, there's 25 of you that this is going to resonate with, right? So I have my pen and pad out. I hope you have your pen and pad out if you are watching this, because Kristy is dropping all the gems. And so you talked about, being able to impact your community. And what I took away from it was kind of changing that narrative of, well, what does a single mom make me? And can I still be successful if I have all these priorities and all these things that may seem like they're working against me because this is my status? And I heard you say you're resourceful. You are
Mhm.
resourceful. You have everything that you need already. But as you think about the work that you do, focusing on impacting your clients, your consumers, and your community, tell me just a couple of those things. Where do you find that, from a mindset perspective, that some of your clients may get hung up in those limiting beliefs? What are some of those challenges that you see they face that causes them to either stay stagnant or not feel like they can, because I know you are all
Mhm.
about the what is your I can. What are some of those things
Mhm.
that they think or some of those things that they allow to hold them captive that you can help them unlock as they go on
Mhm.
their journey as a single mother? I know somebody out here is needing this gem you're about to drop, but I
Mhm.
love to hear that and understand.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that's circulating in the single mom community is finances. That is one of the biggest monsters that is staring them in their face and kicking their butts because they can't see the way around. It's a mountain. It is an
Mm-hmm.
impossible. It is, well, I have to work a trillion jobs
Right.
just to, make a dollar. I have to, but then it's like, well, I can't work that many jobs because then I'm away from home, but I need the finances. The biggest thing, the biggest challenge is finances. But it starts with, again, your mindset. You have the money that you need. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go and borrow from other people and get it further in debt. My whole thing is living a debt-free lifestyle. I paid for my vehicle two or 3 years ago because I refused to. I took myself off of
Girl.
government assistance. Everything that I do, I am a full-time entrepreneur. Okay. And I made my plans. I made my steps. Said I refuse to allow the government to dictate my finances. I refuse to allow my circumstances to tell me what I can and cannot do with my money. And so I took up, I paid off all my credit cards, and I said, my next vehicle is going to be a paid for vehicle. And so I worked my way to make those things happen, right? So that meant when you're with your finances, understanding where you are in your finances.
Mm,
Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses.
mm,
Stop trying, don't allow, and also don't get caught in mom guilt.
mm,
That is another thing that will come into single moms. Well, my children don't have this, and or they're asking me if they can do this, and if I'm having to tell them no, then that, I don't want to see their faces. I don't want to break their heart or make them feel
mm.
as if they can't, live
Nope.
that life of abundance like other children, and go on those trips and play those games and have those, clothing, But what I had to start telling my power in your tongue and what you were saying, have to reframe what I was speaking and reframe what I was thinking. And so therefore I began to align my words up with where I was going and align my children up with where we were going. I had to speak vision into their life. I had to speak purpose into their life. I had to let them know that where we are is not where we're going to be. Is we're here only temporarily, right? Even in finances, where we are is not where we are meant to, stay forever. So getting everybody on the same page in finances, because that is a huge hurdle for a lot of moms. Getting your children on the same page, helping them to understand money, helping them to have a relationship, a healthy relationship with money, healthy relationship. And so that means I had to have a healthy relationship with my
Mm.
finances, allowing them to see how I'm spending or how I'm not spending, and talking to them and letting them know, understand why. Not because I don't have, it's because I see a better use for this right now. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to learn how to speak things differently instead of saying, I don't have this. Because when you speak, I don't have this, everything, all you're going to see, well, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. Every time you say, well, I don't have enough. And that's all going to be presented to you. But when you change the way you speak, when you change your language about your finances, then you'll start seeing where you have enough. And I'm going to put money and I'm going to invest wisely.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good thing if your child asking you for a game. Well, I don't think that's a good investment at this time. What do you think? Help them to think about these things. So now you are helping them to have critical thinking skills and having a healthy relationship with finances, as well as, focus on recreating or reclaiming your finances, right? So finances is one of the biggest things that I see with now I'm always trying to give practical tips, learn how to barter and trade. If you don't have something, if you are short of funds and someone else have what you're in need of, and you are really skilled at cooking or skilled at doing hair, barter and trade. I did that. I did that for years. As a cosmetologist, people wanted me to do their hair, and I knew I needed food. So guess what Kristy did? I would do your hair. All we need is food because that's what the money was going to be spent on anyway. So I would do your hair if you supply the food. So learning how to think outside the box when it comes to your finances, learn how to you know, you know, not speak death into your finances, not speak limiting beliefs or limiting yourself in your finances, and then allow people to come into your life and say, I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna, and even when people say, hey, you want to go here, and if you can't do it right now, just say, hey, I would love to go, but you know what? The way my finances are set up right now,
Transparency.
are you paying for this? Allow them, hey, is this your treat? Well, at this moment, I have other things I'm invested with my finances. So but if you want me to go, then hey, this is, you see what I'm saying? So there's always a way to, grow your finances, to manage your finances wisely, and to have that, you can live a luxurious life, shopping at Goodwill.
That part.
It doesn't take anything from you. You have to do what you can do right now in your finances in order for you to go where you want to go. So looking at your finances, getting a good handle on your finances right now, and speaking life into your finances. And so that is one of the hurdles that I feel or I see that makes single moms limited in everything else they do. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have the finances, so I can't put my child in this sports. I can't pay my doctor's bill. Oh, they can't. What can you do? I can't, go out to eat right now. I can't, do A, B, and C. So now your world is filled with can'ts.
Right.
Like, heck, what is it? Well, tell me one good thing that you can do today. So changing their perspective on finances is very key in order to change their perspective on everything else, because you can really, it's hard to see life in a positive manner when you don't have the funds, when you are feeling limited.
Yeah.
It's hard to feel like you can have a good time and you're always ways worried about, well, if I do, somebody gonna say this about me. Embarrassment comes along with lack of finances. So that finances goes in, it's an octopus. It has many different legs that attacks a person, a single mom, mentally, emotionally, physically. It attacks them in so many different layers. So once you get a handle on your finances and your relationship and what you can do, then everything else, you will walk with pep in your step. You will feel like you're living on top of the world,
Yeah.
because you understand your finances and where you are and how to manage them properly, living a debt-free lifestyle made possible.
No, I absolutely love that. And what I was thinking about, when you started talking about it, because when you look at some of the biggest challenges that single women face or single mothers face, is it's financial, it's emotional, and then it has to do with the time that you're able to
Mhm.
spend on yourself versus with your children. And I'm so glad that you led in and highlighted the financial piece, because sometimes we don't understand that our financial status and how we feel about our money actually impacts the way we spend our time. It impacts how
Mhm.
we feel about ourselves. It impacts how we feel about what we see other people doing. You start seeing everybody else doing different things with their money, to your point around keeping up with the Joneses. And then all of a sudden you feel like you got to do these things. And then you go down this whirlwind of keeping up with other people and comparing yourself to other people. And then you're back into this state of, just not having financial stability. So I think it's so important. I love those gems that you dropped around. Understand where you are. Understand where you are with your own finances, and be honest. Be honest about where you are. Like, that's a personal conversation. That's a personal analysis that you're having with yourself, so you can understand where you are. Be honest. Don't judge yourself. I'm going to always say that. Don't judge yourself once you have that awareness, and then now you can make a plan of action that's going to help you be able to build that business you love, like you talked about.
Mhm.
And I love the gem too that you shared around bartering your services. Some people don't know and don't think about that, especially as entrepreneurs and in business. It's so important, because it's a part of you understanding the value that you have and that you're giving, and the value that you can receive as well. Right. So that was a
Exactly.
pro tip. If you are watching this and you are not in a habit as an entrepreneur of bartering your services, I think that Kristy gave an amazing gem there. And then the third thing, and I'm going to kind of ask a question as I talk about this one, but I think words are so powerful. And obviously you shared so many amazing words today. I'm sure whoever came and watched, they've already got at least 5 things in the spirit of 5 minute career hack that they're able to go and implement now. But words are so powerful. And I think um, the word the words I can, which is why I'm so excited to, just learn more about your book. And really, I want to understand what the inspiration was for you writing this book. But
Oh,
can't in my household is a curse word. Can't is a curse word in my household. I know there's other expletives out there, but I think it was a couple years ago I decided that and shared it with my kids. And even sometimes now when my foot slips and I'll say like can't by accident, the kids will be like, "Mommy, you're cursing." So I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. My bad." I'm so glad that I taught you that. But the power of just taking a simple couple of characters off of one word and transforming what you believe, how you feel, which we know impacts your actions, is so important. Having that conversation with yourself to know, to just talk about what can I do? What can I do? And it made me think about my own, what I would tell my younger self. I didn't share that earlier, but one of the things that I would tell my younger self is there is no arrival point to your journey in life, and or to your healing journey, or to your entrepreneurship journey. I've done many different things. I've overcome many different obstacles. I've made several career shifts. And if I was to think that getting to the point where I felt the most successful was the ending point for me, or where I felt the most healed was an ending point for me, then I don't have the right mindset. And so it takes, to your point, a constant understanding, a constant inquisitiveness about, well, what can I do next? What's next for me? I know I got these resources, I got these skills, abilities, I've got this power. I hit this level. This is not my arrival point. Well, what's next? What else can I do? So thank you for just that entire message. I just wanted to share real quick how it blessed me and what it made me think about. But
oh,
I'm so interested in just understanding, because I know there's a lot of folks out there who want to write a book, or they want to share just a powerful message like you have with your book. Tell me what was that thing that inspired you to really go after this journey of the power of I can, and what can you do? Tell me the inspiration for your book, and maybe one big takeaway that your audience can get from your book.
oh, wow. That is a very um, great question as well. And whew, my book started, I was in Texas. We moved to Texas December of 2015. And
Mm-hmm.
so in Texas, I came from Alabama, and that's not where I lived in Alabama for a while. And so that journey led me to Texas. I came to Texas with $0. I
Mm-hmm.
came to Texas. I did not know how we were going to get to Texas. I was facing
Mm-hmm.
eviction notice. I recently, within that same year, 2015, I had my car repossessed. And so um, the opportunity came for me to, you know, move to Texas, or there were some other states I had in mind or whatever. And so I came to Texas, didn't know where we didn't have a place to live. My boys and I, we didn't have a place to live. I was finishing up work. I called around, and there was a job opportunity here. And so I was like, okay, my boy's getting ready to get out of school. So we'll be there in 2 weeks. We started packing, didn't have a dime, had thousands of dollars we had to pay, for an eviction notice. Didn't have and I did not know. I said, and I was telling my boys, I was like, we're moving to Texas. And the question was, how are we gonna get there? I have no idea, but we're moving to
Mm-hmm.
Texas. We're going to go. I didn't know. So all that worked out to where my siblings ended up paying for a ticket for me to take the bus here. My children ended up going with my siblings to home, to Oxford. And so we all ended up in Texas, right? So that was that journey. And so in Texas, I ended up not having a place to stay. So we stayed with my siblings for at least 2 weeks, maybe. So Christmas,
Use the
we came
resources.
around Christmas, and then ended up in an extended stay. I had the money that I did work from, when I was working in Alabama. I didn't realize I was getting money, from that. So we had a couple of $100 on us from that. And so it was allowed me to be at this extended stay, and I'm like, all right, Jesus, Lord, you gotta do something. But when I thought I was running out, the money started coming in. for me to be able to stay at this extended stay. But the last day that the money ran out, I had applied for this women's shelter called Texas Baptist Children Home here in Round Rock. And so waiting on that to open up or whatever, I had to, be there. And so the last day came to where I had no more money. So it was like I didn't know where we was gonna go. They called to let me know that guess what? We have a space available now if you want the space. We know we told you at this certain time, but the space is available. So we moved into the Texas Baptist Children Home. And I call that place my Garden of Eden. So we moved there in 2016, right? And so in 2016, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around everything that has transpired coming from being married. So that's my journey into single momhood. So I can go back, I can keep going, but I want to answer the question. There's still some story behind this story until where I am, how I became a single mom. But at the Texas Baptist Children Home, I had a moment after God was like, this is your Garden of Eden. This is your place to recoup. This is your place to rediscover who you are. This is your place to realign and reassign and repurpose, And so I was like, okay, bet. But at the same token, I still felt like I was like needing to get A, B, and C done, to where there was this moment to where my children went to school and it was just me in this room. We shared this room and I'm on the floor, like, spread out on the floor, crying my eyeballs out. And I'm trying to figure out life again, right? I'm trying to make sense. I'm like, God, I know I'm this, entrepreneur. I know that I have all these gifts and skills and talents within me. I know I came from having my own business, and now I'm having to be in this place, having to restart, having to rebrand, having to learn a new state, learn a new city, learn new people, having to make a name again. I like all of these things. And I'm a single mom and trying to figure out life, again, and trying to make sense of everything on the floor, crying my eyeballs out. And then the word of the Lord came to me. He said, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I was like, yeah, whatever. That doesn't do nothing for me. Right? I really
we've all heard it and said it.
I don't want to hear that right now. So don't show it with that. And so me still crying. And he knew that I'm an inquisitive person. And so what he spoke to me was, what's your I can? That dried up all the tears. He put the authority back. What? He put the authority back into my hands. He put the power back into dominion back into my hands. Let me know, yes, you are a well of resources. You have all of this. Now, what are you going to do with it? So that's where I got up out the floor and I was like, what is my I can? So in this moment, I started to use that to heal myself. I started to use that to realign and repurpose myself. What's my I can in this? Forget what everybody else is saying, because he said, what is my I can? Not what the neighbor is saying, not what my parents may be saying, not what society is. What is it that I can do? So I owned that. I took authority. I took ownership of what's your I can. And I began to allow that to speak for me. I began to allow that to open doors for me. I began to allow that to be my voice. When Kristy didn't feel like she had a voice, that question rose back, what's your I can? Oh, okay, well, bet. Let's make this happen. Okay. And so the story began right then and there in the floor. I began to write my I can. I began to write the story, the book, What's Your I Can? Kristy, realize your I can in purpose, business, and family. That is your I can. That is the story. So I took everything, my experiences from, leading up to being a single mom and a journey of who I am and the challenges I had to face, the nemesis. Oh, it's an amazing book, okay? Because we have some nemesis that we're fighting with. And What's Your I Can is one of the main characters. So my book is in the antagonist and the protagonist, they are these emotions that we're faced with. They have names, they have, they have personality, and what has been sent along the way to stop us from realizing our can, to keep us from pursuing our purpose. One of the opening of the book talks about what's your I can and nemesis, and their voice is a monologue that they have, and they tell their purpose, and they state their reason for being and what they're doing, and also it talks about how different agents nemesis sent out my way to cause upset, setbacks, frustrations, suicidal thoughts and all of these negative experiences. But when you look into
Real.
it, what's your I can is there talking and being that guardian angel and being that voice of power, being that voice of reason, and giving me a new way of understanding why I'm in this situation and how to overcome. We talk about in this book also, because I wrote this book, and this book started in 2016. Listen, I did not publish this book until this year. This book was written in
The
2016. And
process.
so within those years of writing this book, we went through the pandemic. I went through being homeless again. I went through sleeping in my car again. I went through, not having food in the house to eat. I went through those things. So this book is more about understanding how you can overcome these challenges, again, realizing your I can in purpose. Yes, I may feel like I'm void right now and I don't know which way to go and how to, but you have purpose. What's your I can in purpose? What's your I can in business? I want to leave my 9 to 5 and build the business I love. What's your I can in family? How can I give back? How can I make, be impactful in these areas, in corporate or whatever the case may be, in society. So this book is a strategy. I would compare it to, if you all have heard of TD Jakes' disruptive thinking.
I've
This
heard of it.
book will disrupt your way of thinking and give you a new thought process. Because at the end of the book, it's filled with so much power. It's filled with words of affirmation, confession, and it is filled with, along the way, you will find strength. Along the way, you'll find purpose. Along the way, you'll find parenting, help, and skills, and all these things of raising teen boys, and raising, being to rediscover yourself, all of these things that a single mom, and any person, I've had so many people that are not single moms and they're men, and they're reading the books and they are saying that they are so empowered by the words, they are so transformed by the word. It has really blessed them, and it has really helped them. It has opened their eyes, it has given them wisdom, helped them to gain, more insight to where they are, and using what's your I can as a strategic, weapon to, maneuver and navigate their lifestyle. So that's the journey of what's your I can in the book, and where we are, what you can expect from the book. And also in the book, it's so powerful that I also included, writing prompts in there to where you can journal. You can break those chains while you're reading. You can reclaim your life while you're
That's so good.
reading. You can redefine who you are while you're reading, because the prompts in them will help you to realize yourself right then. You can forgive yourself. Single mom, you can forgive yourself while you're reading.
Yeah.
You can reclaim hope while you're reading. So this book is so powerful and it's so impactful that it is for generations to come. You can put this book in your home and the next person can pick it up and read it. And the title alone would give them like, man, what's your I can? And then it's a testimony. It can help you to share. Oh man, let me tell you about my life. Oh my God, today. So that's the story. That's the whole. Yes, ma'am.
No, that was phenomenal. And I know you see me keep looking down. It's the same thing. I keep taking notes and, just taking the gems that I need for myself. But first, I want to acknowledge you, because a lot of times when I mention that, maybe there's somebody out there that wants to write their book, we think that, it's about sharing a success story, or just hey, this is I've arrived. To my point earlier, I've arrived, I'm here. I want to acknowledge you for sharing what it really takes to be able to impact people and move yourself forward. It's just being vulnerable. That was a really, really, challenging story that you said. But you keeping that story to yourself is not going to help unlock the people who were meant to cross your path. Right. So thank you for sharing the story of how you decided to move to Texas and you didn't have a plan. Some people are holding themselves back and not doing. I've been guilty of this myself in the past, of not starting or not just going because I felt like I needed to have this mapped out strategic plan before I even got started. You share with us that you decided you were moving to Texas. You didn't have a plan. You had that vulnerable moment that really challenged you to be present, right? You had to be present to be able to hear that inquisitiveness you talked about earlier, but to be able to hear the message of what's your I can, and have that be not only your mantra, but have that be your, what fueled everything else that you faced in your life that now allows you to share that story with others and help them overcome that same obstacle. So I think it's phenomenal that you shared that. And just I want to acknowledge you for that, as well as you being an example of what being present looks like versus trying to go and figure it all out. We say here at 5 Minute Career Hack, do it ugly, do it scared, just do it. And that's
Do it.
exactly what you displayed in your story. So where can they go and purchase your book? How can our viewers go and find your book so they can be a part of this transformative journey that you're putting out here in the world?
Of course, yeah, you can find this book on Amazon. You can plug in Kristy Angelee, and I will leave all the information with you all as well, so they can, just automatically pull up everything. Bit.ly, what's your ICANN? The way it's written, you have to see how it's written. It's capital W, capital Y, and capitalize I can. So that's how you can just immediately go and get that book as well. And you can link up in other ways as well, and getting the book. You can, reach out to me directly, reach out and just, hey, Kristy, I want your book. And I can make sure that happens for you.
Awesome, awesome. And I before I wrap up, I don't want you guys to miss another gem that Kristy shared. For those of you who are trying to figure out what's that next thing, especially if you're a single mom and you feel like that status is a handicap. Kristy talked about she started writing this book in 2016. Right? Did you say 2016?
I did.
2016. It
2016.
was a process. It was her embracing the moment, being in the experiences that she was having in order to learn. She said she was healing through her process. You don't have to wait until you get there to whatever this magic place is that you want to be. Trust, I know we say trust the process all the time in society, but that process and you being present enough to understand what you're supposed to learn and how you're supposed being able to listen and leave room for God when you need to leave room for God is so important. So I wanted to just double click that, Kristy, because I know you share so much, and I wanted to make sure the listeners, if you got to rewind, go back and hear her talk about this wasn't something that she just did in 3 months or a couple of weeks. This was a process of experience. She had to go through these life experiences and face some new truths, and probably, if I had to guess, chart some new paths along the way in order for her to get
Exactly.
to this place where she can now confidently speak about making sure that you are not held captive by your finances, held captive by your emotions, held captive by time that you think you don't have as a single mother. We see you, Kristy sees you. Thank you for seeing me, Kristy. As
Yeah.
you were talking, you just never know how you're going to bless someone. So I appreciate your share. So you can find her, you can contact her to find her book. She gave all the amazing ways. We'll have that in the description. Kristy, share your socials. How can our audience find you in general? Share your Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if you do LinkedIn. Tell us how they can find you. If there's a single mom out there who doesn't know where to start, maybe feeling the way that you were feeling at one point, and you can start them on the journey. Share just where can we find you so they can start being a part of this with you.
Of course, you can find me. The easiest way to find me, and I send everybody to my one page, because there you can, branch off to many other different pages. But Kristy Smith, that is my personal page. I love it personal. I love for people to get to know me, and then you decide on which direction you want to take.
Mm.
I'm not just going to send you to my business page, my other public figure page. Like, I am on Instagram, I am on LinkedIn, I am on all these different type of, but get to know me. And then, you decide from there which direction you want to go in, right? So Kristy Smith, and it's KRISTY SMITH. That is the quickest way you can find me and connect with me and still experience, all of the yumminess that you want to experience.
Awesome, awesome. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm so glad that we had a chance to chat. For those of you that are watching, like I said at the beginning, if you are not already subscribed to 5 Minute Career Hack, press the subscribe button now. And then when you finish, I want you to go Find Kristy. She's also got a YouTube channel that'll be inside the comments. Subscribe to Kristy as well, so that you, whether you're a single mother or you know someone who's a single mother or a single parent, it's so important to share this message. And we're so glad that we had an opportunity to expose you all to Kristy's gems, and hopefully this really bless your learning journey and your life journey. So thank you so much, Kristy, again, for being on with us today. I suspect, because I know we didn't get it all out, I suspect that there's going to be some type of part 2 that we'll have to this. So I look forward to our partnership, and continuing to work alongside you in this journey.
I look forward to it as well. I'm excited. I cannot wait.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a great day. As I always say, I love y'all, and be well.
Now, the 5-minute career hack, we call this hacking. Look at you. You just did it. And you don't have to stop here. Take one step every week and ensure that you are pouring into you and getting closer to your career goals. Yep, see that button down there? Hit subscribe, but don't stop there, because you know what they say, sharing is caring. So take 5, and we'll see you next week.